Okay, let us talk about something that the motorcycle community does really well. And that thing is holding grudges. Seriously, mention certain motorcycle names in the wrong group of riders, and you will immediately hear sighs, eye rolls, and a dramatic retelling of some forum post from 2011 that everybody has been treating as gospel ever since. Today, we are challenging that. We are looking at 14 motorcycles that the internet decided were terrible, convicted them without a fair trial, and has been sentencing them ever since. Some of them are brilliant, some are misunderstood, and at least one of them will make you feel embarrassed about how long you have been dismissing it. Let us get into it. Number 14, Honda N01. So the Honda N01. If you mention this machine at a motorcycle meetup in 2010, people would physically move away from you. It was mocked relentlessly for being a motorcycle with an automatic transmission at a time when the community collectively decided that using a clutch was a personality trait rather than a mechanical process. Why is it on the hate list? The N01 launched in 2008 with a hydraulic automatic control transmission and was immediately dismissed as a scooter in disguise. Forums were brutal. It was called soulless, pointless, and the kind of motorcycle you bought if you had given up on motorcycling. The cruiser styling that did not quite commit to being a cruiser did not help matters. And then there was the price. Honda charged $14,599 for an automatic motorcycle at a time when the market was not remotely ready for that conversation. The community decided it was embarrassing and overpriced. And that was that. Why is it not that bad? Because Honda was doing in 2008 what the entire industry is now desperately trying to do with DCT technology. The hydraulic automatic control transmission was innovative, delivering seamless gear changes with no clutch lever, while the machine maintained proper motorcycle dynamics. Riders with hand injuries, arthritis, or reduced grip strength found it transformative. It was 15 years ahead of mainstream acceptance, and the market punished it for being too early. Maintenance is remarkably straightforward. No clutch system to service or replace. The automatic transmission requires periodic fluid changes, but no clutch cable adjustments or clutch plate replacements. Comfort is outstanding for the format. The low seat, height, and relaxed cruiser ergonomics make it highly accessible. Specs: 680cc parallel twin, producing approximately 44 horsepower. Seat height, 27.2 inches, which is exceptionally low. Weight, approximately 573 pounds wet. Now let us talk price. New pricing was approximately $14,599 at launch, which tells you everything about why it struggled commercially. Used examples today sell between $3,500 and $6,000, depending on condition. An automatic motorcycle that was revolutionary in 2008 and embarrassing, apparently. Now the whole industry is copying it. Funny how that works. But number 13 was hated for reasons that were even more unfair. Number 13, Suzuki SFV 650 Gladius. The Suzuki SFV 650 Gladius is a machine that the motorcycle community dismissed on arrival in 2009 for the most honest reason imaginable. It looked weird. Not wrong, not broken. Just weird in a way that made people uncomfortable, and the motorcycle press has the attention span of a distracted golden retriever, so weird quickly became written off. Why is it on the hate list? The Gladius arrived wearing V-twin character in a naked middleweight body with styling that divided opinion so completely that reviewers spent more time describing the appearance than testing the machine. The asymmetric front face, the underseat exhaust, and the general shape of a bike that refused to look like anything else on the market earned it relentless aesthetic punishment. Nobody gave the actual motorcycle a fair hearing. Why is it not that bad? Because underneath the controversial bodywork sat a genuinely fun 645cc V-twin producing around 72 horsepower with a character that most naked middleweights in this price range simply do not have. The V-twin format gives it a torque delivery that feels bigger than the displacement suggests. It is the kind of engine that makes you want to ride longer just to hear it work. Specs: 645cc liquid-cooled V-twin, producing approximately 72 horsepower and 64 newton-meters of torque. Seat height: 31.9 inches. Weight approximately 436 pounds wet. Maintenance is straightforward and inexpensive. Suzuki's V-twin platform is well understood by independent mechanics across the U.S., keeping service costs genuinely accessible. The V-twin layout makes valve access easier than most inline fours. Comfort is strong for urban and weekend use. The upright ergonomics keep the rider in a natural position without the wrist-loading crouch of a sport bike. Now let us talk price. New pricing was approximately $6,999. Used examples today sell between $2,200 and $3,800, making it one of the most accessible quality naked bikes in the current used market. Judged on looks alone and found guilty by a community that apparently forgot to ride it. Number 12 was hated for reasons that are simultaneously more understandable and more outdated. Number 12, Kawasaki Versys 650. First generation, 2007 to 2009. The first generation Kawasaki Versys 650 is a machine that the motorcycle community looked at, pulled a face, and then moved on from almost immediately upon arrival. And the primary reason for that rejection was almost entirely visual. Why is it on the hate list? It looked weird. The high-mounted exhaust, the oddly proportioned bodywork, and the design that refused to commit to being either an adventure bike or a naked bike made it a target for aesthetic criticism from the moment it appeared in dealerships. Riders called it ugly, with a consistency and enthusiasm that suggested it had personally offended them. The styling overshadowed everything the machine actually did. Why is it not that bad? Because underneath that divisive bodywork was a parallel twin that was practically engineered for the kind of everyday riding that most people actually do. The 649cc engine produces usable torque across the entire rev range. Specs: 649cc liquid-cooled parallel twin, producing approximately 64 horsepower and 63 newton-meters of torque. Seat height: 33.5 inches. Weight approximately 450 pounds wet. Maintenance is straightforward and inexpensive. Kawasaki's parallel twin platform from this era is well understood by independent mechanics globally, keeping service costs accessible. Comfort is the machine's strength. The upright, ergonomics, and compliant suspension make daily use pleasant. Now let us talk price. New pricing was approximately $6,000 at launch. Used examples today sell between $2,000 and $3,500, making it one of the most financially accessible quality motorcycles in the current used market. Judged on looks alone and found guilty by a community that apparently forgot to ride it. Number 11 was hated for reasons that are simultaneously more understandable and more outdated. Number 11, Suzuki B-King. The Suzuki B-King. Even the name sounds like it was designed by a marketing department having an identity crisis. When it launched in 2008 with a Hayabusa engine in a naked Street Fighter body, the reaction from the press was best described as baffled hostility. Why is it on the hate list? Critics called it vulgar, purposeless, and an exercise in excess that served no practical function. The styling divided opinions so completely that some reviewers appeared personally offended by its existence. The muscle bike format was deemed unnecessary given the existence of the Hayabusa itself. The B-King arrived at the wrong time in motorcycle culture and was dismissed with a thoroughness that significantly hurt its commercial performance. Why is it not that bad? Because 1,340 cubic centimeters of Hayabusa-derived inline, 4 producing approximately 185 horsepower in an upright naked chassis is one of the most viscerally exciting naked bikes ever produced at any price point. Maintenance follows standard Suzuki inline 4 procedures. Parts are available through the extensive Suzuki global network at reasonable prices. No exotic servicing requirements. Comfort is surprisingly manageable for a machine of this specification. The upright ergonomics provide more natural positioning than the Hayabusa. Specs: 1003, 140cc, liquid-cooled inline-4, producing approximately 185 horsepower and 155 newton-meters of torque. Seat height: 31.9 inches. Weight approximately 590 pounds wet. Now let us talk price. New pricing was approximately $12,000 at launch. Used examples today sell between $5,000 and $9,000, representing extraordinary value for 185 horsepower. Hayabusa power in a more usable package gets called pointless. Sure. Number 10 was dismissed for reasons that reveal more about the dismissers than the machine itself. Number 10. Honda CB-1000R. The Honda CB-1000R committed exactly one crime against the motorcycle press. It was built by Honda, packed with 1,000 cubic centimeters of inline-4 performance, and refused to be either a sport bike or a tourer. The press did not know where to file it. The market did not know how to feel about it. So they collectively shrugged and moved on to something with a more obvious identity. Honda's loss, your gain. Why is it on the hate list? The CB-1000R arrived in 2008 wearing minimal bodywork and promising naked performance without the drama of a Ducati Monster or the aggression of a Triumph Speed Triple. Reviews acknowledged it was competent. Nobody got particularly excited. The word characterless appeared repeatedly. The word reliable never did, which tells you a lot about what the motorcycle press considers worth celebrating. Why is it not that bad? Because characterless and fast are not mutually exclusive, and the CB-1000R is genuinely fast. The 998cc inline-4 produces 125 horsepower in a chassis that weighs approximately 447 pounds wet. That is a serious power-to-weight ratio, wrapped in a machine that will start every morning and never strand you. Specs: 998cc, liquid-cooled inline-4, producing approximately 125 horsepower and 102 newton-meters of torque. Seat height: 32.1 inches. Weight approximately 447 pounds wet. Maintenance is Honda-level simple and economical. Service intervals are generous, and the mechanically straightforward inline-4 requires nothing more than diligent, basic maintenance. Comfort is strong for the naked format. The upright ergonomics place the rider in a natural position that works for urban riding and medium-distance touring without punishment. Now let us talk price. New pricing was approximately $10,000. Used examples today sell between $3,000 and $5,500, representing outstanding value for a Honda with serious performance. Dependability as a negative quality, only in motorcycling. But number 9 was dismissed for a reason that was based on real issues that have since been completely resolved. Number 9. Kawasaki ZX-14R. The Kawasaki ZX-14R is a machine that riders either absolutely love or actively avoid. And the avoidance camp has been making increasingly outdated arguments for the past decade. Why is it on the hate list? The ZX-14R developed a reputation for being intimidatingly fast in a way that made it unsuitable for everyday riders. And early forum conversations about its handling at low speeds painted it as a challenging machine to manage in urban environments. Its enormous size and substantial weight became part of its identity in a negative context that stuck well beyond the point where actual rider reports would have justified it. Why is it not that bad? Because the ZX-14R is one of the most refined, comfortable, and fast long-distance machines ever produced at any price point. 1,441 cubic centimeters of inline-4, producing approximately 200 horsepower in a chassis with outstanding wind protection and a surprisingly comfortable riding position, makes it arguably the best value hyperbike ever made. The electronic management systems on later examples tamed the power delivery into something usable in the real world. Speaking of specs, this bike is 1,441 cubic centimeters, liquid-cooled inline-4, producing approximately 200 horsepower and 158 newton-meters of torque. Seat height, 32.3 inches. Weight, approximately 593 pounds wet. Now let us talk price. New pricing, when available, was approximately $15,000. Used examples today sell between $6,000 and $11,000. 200 horsepower of refined touring capability being called intimidating by people who probably never rode one. Number 8 has been on the internet's naughty list for reasons that are almost entirely based on one specific early production issue. Number 8, Triumph Tiger 800, 2011 to 2014. All right, Triumph is not Japanese. You are absolutely right. But this machine deserves inclusion because the injustice done to its reputation is so significant that leaving it out would be doing you a disservice. The Tiger 800 was dismissed with a ruthlessness that affected resale values and continues to influence buying decisions in 2026. Why is it on the hate list? Early production examples developed an idle control stepper motor issue that caused rough idling and occasional stalling in specific conditions. Why is it not that bad? Because once the stepper motor issue was addressed, either through the factory fix or through replacement, the Tiger 800 was and remains one of the most characterful, versatile, and enjoyable mid-displacement adventure machines available. The triple-cylinder engine delivers a riding experience that the parallel twins of Japanese competitors simply cannot replicate. Specs: 799cc, liquid-cooled inline triple producing, approximately 94 horsepower and 79 newton-meters of torque. Seat height, 31.5 inches low, 33.1 inches high. Weight approximately 445 pounds wet. Maintenance is straightforward once the early stepper motor issue is addressed. Triumph's dealer network provides strong support and parts are readily available. Comfort is outstanding once the ergonomics are adjusted to the rider. The triple's character makes every journey more engaging. Now let us talk price. New pricing at launch was approximately $9,999. Used examples with documented stepper motor fix sell between $3,500 and $6,000, representing excellent value. A fixable issue turned into a permanent reputation. That is forum culture in one sentence. Number 7 was dismissed for being ahead of its time in a world that was not ready for it. If you are still here with us, hit subscribe and ring the notification bell right now. Numbers 7 through 1 contain the most unjustly dismissed machines on this entire list. You do not want to miss what is coming. Subscribe now. Number 7, Honda NC 700X, 2012 to 2014. The Honda NC 700X launched in 2012 to reviews that acknowledged its innovation without celebrating it, and buyers who looked at it nodded politely and then bought something else. It was one of the most clever motorcycles Honda had produced in years, and the market basically ignored it. Why is it on the hate list? The NC 700X committed multiple crimes against motorcycle convention simultaneously. The engine was shared with a car. The fuel tank was under the seat. The fake tank up front was actually a storage compartment, and it used an automatic transmission option at a time when this was still controversial. Reviewers could not decide if it was brilliant or confusing, and the market chose neither. Why is it not that bad? Because everything the NC 700X did that was unconventional was done in service of practicality that everyday riders actually valued. The underseat fuel tank lowers the center of gravity dramatically. The front storage is useful. The fuel economy is outstanding at approximately 55 to 65 miles per gallon. Specs: 670cc liquid-cooled parallel twin producing approximately 51 horsepower and 60 newton-meters of torque. Seat height: 32.1 inches. Weight approximately 456 pounds wet. Now let us talk price. New pricing at launch was approximately $7,000 $499. Used examples today sell between $2,500 and $4,500. Revolutionary thinking punished for not looking conventional enough. Number 6 was hated because it dared to be different in a world that was not quite ready for different yet. Number 6. Yamaha Niken. The Yamaha Niken is a machine that the traditional motorcycle community has been dismissing since the moment it appeared, with its 2 front wheels and its absolute refusal to apologize for existing. The leaning 3-wheel format makes purists deeply uncomfortable, and they have been expressing that discomfort vocally ever since. Everything that was said about 3-wheeled machines a decade ago is now being directed at the Niken, and it is equally wrong this time. Why is it on the hate list? It has 3 wheels. In the minds of a significant portion of the motorcycle community, this is sufficient reason to disqualify it from any serious conversation. It was called a scooter, a novelty, and worse. The automotive crossover appearance did not help its case with traditional motorcycle enthusiasts who prefer their machines to look a specific way. Why is it not that bad? Because the Niken solves a problem that an enormous number of potential riders actually have. The leaning multi-wheel technology provides dramatically increased stability at low speeds and in wet conditions without removing the engaging lean dynamics that make motorcycling enjoyable. It uses the same 845 cubic centimeters inline triple from the MT-09, producing approximately 113 horsepower. It leans like a motorcycle. It handles like a motorcycle. It is a motorcycle. Specs: 845cc, liquid-cooled inline triple producing approximately 113 horsepower and 88 Newton-meters of torque. Seat height: 32.7 inches. Weight approximately 637 pounds wet. Maintenance requires standard motorcycle service procedures. The additional front wheel linkage requires periodic inspection, but adds minimal complexity compared to a conventional front end. Comfort is well suited to urban and highway use. The upright position and confidence at low speeds makes city riding effortless in ways that conventional 2-wheeled machines simply are not. Now let us talk price. New pricing is approximately $8,499. Used examples sell between $5,000 and $7,000. 3 wheels, endless criticism. The irony of a community that celebrates freedom refusing to accept different approaches to that same freedom. Number 5 was dismissed because it looked like something people thought they understood. Number 5. Suzuki V-Strom, 650, 2004 to 2011. The Suzuki V-Strom 650 is one of the most spectacularly overlooked motorcycles in the history of the American used market. It is frumpy looking. It has the aesthetic presence of a reliable accountant. It does not sound exciting. And then you ride it for 400 miles and arrive less tired than you have ever been on a motorcycle at any price point. The community has been punishing it for the accountant thing ever since. Why is it on the hate list? The V-Strom 650 fell between every available category and was punished for it. Not adventure enough for adventure riders who wanted a massive GS. Not sporty enough for sport riders who wanted a CBR. Not cruiser enough for the Harley crowd. It was the motorcycling equivalent of being good at everything and celebrated for nothing. Online forums referred to it as the plastic maggot, with an affection that masked the fact that they were actually dismissing it. Why is it not that bad? Because the V-twin 645cc engine that powers the V-Strom is one of the most characterful, practical, and genuinely rewarding power plants Suzuki has ever put in a street machine. The low-end torque, the fuel economy, and the upright ergonomics combine to produce a machine that everyday riders report they simply do not want to get off. Specs: 645cc, liquid-cooled V-twin, producing approximately 6.4 horsepower and 60 Newton-meters of torque. Seat height: 32.9 inches. Weight approximately 437 pounds wet. Maintenance is straightforward and inexpensive. The V-twin layout provides easy access to all service points, and parts availability across the US market is excellent. Comfort is the machine's defining quality. The upright adventure ergonomics combined with good wind protection make extended riding genuinely pleasant. Now let us talk price. New pricing was approximately $6,499. Used examples today sell between $2,500 and $4,500, which is one of the most absurd value propositions in the current market. A V-twin engine that delivers real-world touring ability being dismissed because it would not pick a lane. Number 4 was on the hate list for reasons that are so outdated they belong in a museum. Number 4, Kawasaki Vulcan S. The Kawasaki Vulcan S gets a specific type of disrespect that is reserved for budget-friendly cruisers. It is the machine that cruiser purists dismiss as a sport bike wearing cruiser clothes, and that characterization contains just enough truth to be annoying and just enough inaccuracy to be unfair. Why is it on the hate list? The Vulcan S arrived in 2015 wearing cruiser styling over a parallel twin engine that cruiser traditionalists recognized as coming from the Ninja 650 lineage. They called it fake. They called it a costume. They argued that a real cruiser needed a V-twin. The internet agreed with enthusiasm, and the Vulcan S was sentenced to a permanent beginner bike status regardless of what it actually delivered. Why is it not that bad? Because the Vulcan S has something almost no other cruiser at this price point offers. It fits. The ErgoFit adjustable foot pegs, handlebars, and seat allow the bike to be configured to the actual dimensions of the actual human riding it. Shorter riders, taller riders, longer arms, different proportions. The Vulcan S accommodates all of them without modification. Specs: 649cc liquid-cooled parallel twin producing approximately 61 horsepower and 63 Newton-meters of torque. Seat height: 27.8 inches, adjustable from 25.7 to 28.7 inches. Weight approximately 498 pounds wet. Maintenance is straightforward, and service intervals are reasonable. The parallel twin platform is well supported across the US dealer network, and independent mechanics are familiar with it. Comfort is the machine's strongest suit once the ErgoFit system is properly configured. Riders who dismiss it without adjusting it for their body are missing the entire point of what makes it different. Now let us talk price. New pricing was approximately $7,999. Used examples today sell between $3,500 and $5,500. A cruiser that fits more riders than any other at this price point being called fake by people whose primary objection is the engine configuration. Number 3 has been on the hate list for a reason that involves the word Gladius and a remarkable level of stubborn community opinion. Number 3, Suzuki Gladius SFV 650 2009 to 2015. Wait, is the Gladius on this list twice? No. Number 13 was the Gladius as a misunderstood machine in its own right. Number 3 is about the Gladius community paradox, which is that the people who actually own Gladiuses are evangelical about them, while the people who have never ridden one are dismissive about them. And these two groups are talking past each other with a volume and commitment that has genuinely suppressed the used market value of an excellent machine. Actually, let us correct ourselves. The Gladius at number 13 deserves its own entry. So number 3 goes to its stablemate, and the machine that absorbed the same community bias from a different angle. Number 3, Suzuki Bandit 1250S. The Suzuki Bandit 1250S was dismissed in the American market for being old-fashioned at a time when old-fashioned meant reliable, comfortable, and fast. Critics wanted electronics. They wanted riding modes. They wanted TFT screens. The Bandit 1250S arrived with a 1255cc inline-4 shaft drive and absolutely no interest in apologizing for being exactly what it was. Why is it on the hate list? It looked like a touring bike from 2002 because it essentially was a touring bike from 2002, refined and improved over many years, but never pretending to be something modern and exciting. The press dismissed it as dated. Online communities called it boring. The shaft drive, which should have been celebrated as a maintenance-free feature, was somehow used as evidence of compromise. Why is it not that bad? Because 1,255 cubic centimeters of inline-4 torque in an upright touring chassis with shaft drive and a full fairing is one of the most competent long-distance machines ever sold in the US market at any price. It is smooth, fast, comfortable, and virtually indestructible under normal use. Specs: 1,255 cubic centimeters, liquid-cooled inline-4, producing approximately 98 horsepower and 102 newton-meters of torque. Seat height: 31.9 inches. Weight approximately 579 pounds wet. Maintenance is refreshingly simple. Shaft drive eliminates chain service entirely. The inline-4 platform requires only diligent, basic maintenance at generous service intervals. Comfort is the machine's defining quality. Full fairing wind protection, upright ergonomics, and the smooth shaft drive make all-day touring genuinely pleasant. Now let us talk price. New pricing was approximately $9,999. Used examples today sell between $2,500 and $5,000, representing one of the best touring values in the used market. Dated as an insult. When the alternative is a bike that needs a software update to go for a ride, dated is starting to sound like a compliment. Number 2 was dismissed for reasons that were rooted in facts that have since been completely overtaken by everything that happened afterward. Number 2, Honda CTX 700. The Honda CTX 700 gets a very specific kind of disrespect. It is dismissed by sporty riders for being too slow. It is dismissed by cruiser riders for not being a real cruiser. It is dismissed by practical riders for being too heavy for commuting. It has been dismissed by everyone, which is impressive for a machine that does most things well. Why is it on the hate list? The CTX 700 arrived in 2014 wearing retro-inspired cruiser styling over a practical commuter platform and was immediately called confused. The low seat and automatic transmission option made it target for the same prejudices that chased the DN01. Reviews were polite but unenthusiastic. Sales were modest. The machine disappeared from the US lineup with remarkably little ceremony. Why is it not that bad? Because the CTX 700 did something genuinely clever. It took Honda's practical NC platform, dressed it in accessible cruiser ergonomics, gave it a low seat height that shorter riders found transformative, and offered an automatic transmission option at a price point where that feature was essentially unavailable elsewhere. Specs: 670cc liquid-cooled parallel twin, producing approximately 52 horsepower. The CTX 700 uses chain drive, not shaft drive. Seat height: 28.3 inches, making it one of the most accessible seat heights in the cruiser category. Weight approximately 494 pounds wet. Maintenance is Honda level simple. The chain drive system requires standard lubrication and adjustment, and the parallel twin platform is thoroughly supported across the US Honda dealer network. Comfort is outstanding for the format. The low seat height and relaxed ergonomics make it highly accessible for a wide range of riders. Now let us talk price. New pricing was approximately $7,499. Used examples today sell between $2,500 and $4,500. Practical and accessible being treated as insults. Number 1 is the machine that should make every person who dismissed it feel genuinely embarrassed. Number 1, Honda V-F-R 800 Interceptor 2002 onwards. If you want to understand how badly the motorcycle community can get something wrong over an extended period of time, study the reputation of the Honda VFR 800 Interceptor. Here's a machine that handles magnificently, sounds extraordinary, delivers a V4 character that literally no other manufacturer offers, at this price point and has been casually dismissed by a significant portion of the community as an overpriced Honda for the better part of 2 decades. Why is it on the hate list? VTEC. When Honda introduced the VTEC system on the 2002 model, altering the valve engagement at a specific RPM, the transition became a cultural flashpoint. Critics called it abrupt. Forums called it jarring. The VTEC became the single defining characteristic of the entire motorcycle in the public imagination, overshadowing everything else the machine did. A V4 of this quality, being reduced to a meme, is one of the most significant reputation injustices in modern motorcycle history. Why is it not that bad? Because the VFR 800 is one of the finest sport tourers ever produced at any price point by any manufacturer. The 782cc V4 engine is by any objective measure a masterpiece. The camshafts on the 2002 onwards models are chain-driven, making valve train maintenance straightforward, and the engine far more owner-serviceable than its exotic character suggests. Specs: 782cc liquid-cooled V4 producing approximately 107 horsepower and 80 newton-meters of torque. Seat height: 32.9 inches. Weight approximately 522 pounds wet. Maintenance requires awareness of the service intervals, but the chain-driven camshaft system on post-2001 models is well within the capability of any competent mechanic. Parts availability is strong across the U.S. market. Comfort is outstanding for the sport touring format. Exceptional wind protection and a neutral riding position make long distances genuinely pleasant. Now let us talk price. New pricing was approximately $10,000 at various points. Used examples today sell between $3,500 and $7,000, depending on condition and year. A V4 that sounds extraordinary and rides magnificently being dismissed over a valve timing transition that takes approximately 3 minutes to adapt to. That is the motorcycle community in one sentence. 14 machines. 14 unfair sentences. The appeals court is open. Go ride one of them and form your own opinion. If you found this list useful, drop a comment below telling us which machine you think deserves the biggest second chance. Want to know the 14 motorcycles the internet loves that are actually overrated? Click on the video to the left and subscribe so you never miss a breakdown like this one.